sa pagbasa niyo dito sa mga nangyayari, kaya bang manatili sa pwesto ni President Marcos until the next election?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is maraming pagsubok pa rin na kakaharapin. Maraming mga attempts pa rin na mangyayari, especially next year. But I believe the administration has weathered the worst of these challenges to its existence nung nakaraang buwan. At for that matter, the past 3 months. Kaya nandito ngayon, ang mangyayari from here on would be parang skirmishes na lang. Unang in-expect natin mangyayari would be the official transmission of the warrant of Bato. Then, pangalawa is the filing of plunder charges against Sara Duterte by members of civil society. Then, pangatlo, yung warrants of arrest na may issue against the senators and congressmen involved dun sa flood control scandal. Then, after that, magkakaroon tayo ng konting respite during the Christmas season. Then, re-renewed the hostilities by the second half of January. Hanggang, ano na yan, siguro middle of the year. Tapos, pagka nakaabot kasi pag nakatungtong na ng 2027 si President Marcos, unang-una mawawala na yung constitutional option of succession of power by the Senate President kung forced resignation ng President and Vice President. Kasi nasa Constitution, kailangan more than 18 months left before the next elections yun. Tapos, by 2027, ang magiging attitude na ng mga power blocks would be, let's wait it out sa next elections kasi filing na naman ng October of 2027. So, mag-shift na yan, na election mode na yan sila. So, a critical kay President Marcos would be 2026. But again, sabi ko nga, he has weathered the worst. So mga skirmishes, mga kakaharapin itong darating na taon.
When you said he has weathered the worst, no? How would you describe the worst? Ano yung pinakamatinding kinaharap po ba niya?
Nung una kasi, hindi pa natin alam kung gaano kalakas yung puwersa, kung ano ba may natatagong suporta sa armed forces. Ganun yun eh. That threat of a withdrawal of support or mass protest, until it actually happens, dun mo lang makikita eh kung gaano. Kaya kailangan brace for impact ka doon. Nung nangyari, yung una, yung spontaneous expression of outrage nung September 21, hindi naman directed to the resignation of President Marcos eh. Kasi talagang masama lang yung pakiramdam ng mga tao. So this is akin to what happened to the Napoles case, the Napoles scandal. Remember the million people march that time? Yeah. So ganun din. Labasan yung mga tao, naglabas ng galit. But it's not really directed against President Aquino. So naglalabas lang sila ng hinaing. They're calling for accountability. Gusto nilang ipahinto na yung ganyang kalakaran. So ganun din yung nangyari noong September 21. Then ginanahan doon yung mga Duterte forces. So they started moving around the active ranks of the armed forces. Tapos yung mga puwersa nila, talagang they tried to pull in or drag in the Iglesia ni Cristo para magkaroon sila ng critical mass. But fortunately, yung Iglesia ni Cristo hindi naman necessarily aligned dun sa gusto nilang mangyari. Kaya they remained in their corner doon sa Luneta. Naglabas din sila ng kanilang hinaing. Pero nung natapos na yon, they packed up and left. Hindi yun ang expectation ng mga Dutertes. Ina-expect nila na talagang mapaparalyze yung Metro Manila, then that political impasse would lead to the withdrawal of support by sympathetic elements of the armed forces. Pero steadfast yung AFP leadership eh. Hindi sila nag-budge. They remained loyal to the Constitution and their Commander-in-Chief.
Would you consider that as the worst? Ito yung, kung talaga matatanggal si BBM, yun sana yun.
Yun na yun. Kasi doon talaga sila may plano. In fact, talagang doon sa echo chamber nila, they were expecting na mag-assume na si Sara as president nung November 17. Kasi yun yung pinaniwala sa kanila eh. Tayo naman, we were not overestimating it. We were not underestimating it as well. So talagang kinakapa natin, ano ba? Are we missing something? Meron bang nangyayari sa armed forces na hindi natin nakikita? Kaso sa pagpupulso sa junior officers, mid-ranking officers, and senior officers, walang ganong sentimiento na magre-rebelde sila. They will throw their careers away for a cause. Kasi ang cause dito is iluluklok mo si Sara. And fortunately, nung namumulso kami, talagang ayaw ng mga official kay Sara. No? Dahil dalawang bagay. Dahil pro-China siya at dahil nakita nila psychologically unstable si Sara. So, yeah.
Okay. Yung sinabi po ni Sara Duterte na, 'di ba sinabi niya, ready na siya, no? Ready siya mag-assume kung sakaling bababa sa pwesto itong si Bongbong Marcos. What do you think of that statement itself, given the context with which that was said, and about the timing?
Yun na nga. Swak na swak yun doon sa senaryo na ginagawa nila that she would assume. Ang problema talaga ni Sara is siya no? Siya yung pinakang bulletproof, ika nga ni President Marcos. Even the pro-Duterte generals, believe me, ayaw sa kanya eh. Kaya nga fino-float itong Transition Council, parang none of the above na lang yung gusto nila mangyari. Yes. So siya naging pinakang bulletproof. Meaning, kahit na yung mga pro-Duterte generals, retired generals, na galit kay President Marcos, ayaw din kay Sara. Dahil yun na nga, I don't know, she really has a problem. No? May, bukod sa psychologically unstable, talagang wala daw people skills itong si Sara. No? She just comes and goes as she pleases. Well, anyway, yun ang information. Kaya nagfo-float itong mga retired generals ng Transition Council na lang para lang manigit parehas. No? Parang tanggal na lang si President Marcos, tanggal din si Sara. Kaso wala namang paghuhugutan yon. Kaya itong November 30 rally ng church tsaka civil society organizations and academe, maliwanag sa kanila while they are calling for accountability, pero ayaw din nila nung unconstitutional means to oust President Marcos from power. Kaya yun din ang mensahe na maliwanag doon. And that in a way is a protection for President Marcos.